Welcome to the YouTube account Track Party. In this video we are going to talk about the little facts we know about Titanic. A woman who survived the Titanic's sinking later survived the sinking of another ship, the Britannic. Depending on how you look at it, stewardess and nurse Violet Jessup is the luckiest, or unluckiest, woman alive. She survived the sinking of both the Titanic and the Britannic. Jessup was just 25 when she survived the sinking of the Titanic. She was instructed to get into a lifeboat while the ship was going down to show women that the boats were safe. Undeterred by this maritime tragedy, Jessup began working on the Britannica, dubbed the Titanic II by the media, until it came across a mine that had been planted by a German U-boat in 1916. That ship also sank, and Jessup escaped again, but this time with a serious head injury that would affect her whole life. It is rumored that a few men dressed up as women to get a spot on a lifeboat. For one couple, these rumors even caused divorce. Dickinson and Helen Bishop were granted a divorce in 1916, 4 years after the Titanic went down. Helen claimed that her husband was cruel and a drunk, but their relationship was also plagued by rumors that Dickinson had dressed up as a woman in order to escape the ship. In his official testimony during the U.S. Senate inquiry regarding the Titanic, he claimed that there had been no official order allowing only women and children to get on lifeboats. Bishop's not the only man to have been accused of disguising himself as a woman. J. Bruce Ismay, William Carter, and William T. Sloper were all dogged by the same rumors throughout their lives. Every single engineer aboard the Titanic perished. They all stayed behind to keep the ship's power running until the very end. The Titanic's lights only went out when she finally went under, due to the tireless efforts of the ship's engineers, who stayed behind to keep the electricity and pumps running while the ship sank. They also kept the radio running, which put out distress signals until minutes before the ship sank. Not one of the 25 engineers survived. The Navratil brothers were known as the Titanic Orphans. They were the only two children from the ship to be rescued without a parent or guardian. The Navratil brothers Edmund and Michel were just 2 and 4 years old, respectively, when the Titanic sank. They were with their father, Michel Sr., who had kidnapped them. Separated from their mother, he decided to take them to America in the hopes that his estranged wife would follow, and that they could start a new life in the New World. The two spoke no English, so they were taken in by a French-speaking survivor, Margaret Hayes, until the authorities could locate their mother. Said mother found them a month after the disaster, thanks to their faces being plastered all over newspapers the world over. One of the most beloved quotes from the 1997 film is based on a true story. In the movie, Benjamin Guggenheim refuses a life vest and states, "We are dressed in our best and are prepared to go down as gentlemen." While it seems almost too cinematic to be true, the real Benjamin Guggenheim was actually prepared to go down like a gentleman, according to multiple reports. A New York Times article published in April 1912 reported that he had asked a steward to tell his wife in New York City, "I've done my best in doing my duty." There were at least 13 couples who chose to celebrate their honeymoon on the Titanic. According to Titanic Love Stories, there were at least 13 couples celebrating their honeymoons on the ship. A novella called Futility, that was published 14 years before the Titanic set sail, seemed to have predicted the disaster. Futility, a novella written by American author Morgan Robertson, was published in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic set sail. It centered around the sinking of a fictional ship called the Titan. According to Time, there's an eerie number of similarities between the ship's sinking in Futility and the Titanic IRL. First, the ship names are just 2 letters off Titan versus Titanic. They were also said to be almost the same size, and both sank in April, due to an iceberg. Both ships had been described as unsinkable, and, sadly, both had just over the legally required amount of lifeboats, which were nowhere near enough. The author was accused of being a psychic, but he explained that the uncanny similarities were simply a product of his extensive knowledge, saying, "I know what I'm writing about, that's all." If you like a video, please subscribe to Chanel Party Track. Thanks.